Welcome to the Community TV show. I'm Kathy Antunes, guest hosting for Annette Sherman. And with us today are a wonderful group from the Players Theater. Jeffrey Kinn is the managing artistic director. He's been with the Players Theater since 2007. Welcome, Jeffrey.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thanks for being here. And next we have Alyssa Gowdy. Alyssa is the production manager for the Players Theater, and she is going to be the lead in Hello, Dolly, coming this November. Alyssa, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And finally, we're joined by Morgan Gerhardt. Morgan is the advancement director for the Players Theater, which Morgan's going to be telling us about the 90th anniversary of the Players Theater. I had no idea that the Players had been a part of the community for 90 years. So Morgan, thank you so much.
Happy to be here.
For joining us, yes. So Jeffrey, let's start with you.
Hi.
2007,
Yeah.
you've been here managing, directing.
Yep.
You do so much with the Players Theater, but you got your start in the hayloft of your family bar.
You know, my staff
that.
loves the fact that I use all these farm colloquialisms all the time, but I am a farm kid from Ohio.
Yeah.
And literally I was the kid that would sing show tunes up in the hayloft as I was feeding cattle. And, you know, I don't know, my parents don't know where I came from.
But it was in you.
It was there.
beginning.
I was very
Yes.
entertaining as a kid. I was the youngest of 6, so I tend to like to express myself.
You had to kind of fight for a place with the youngest of 6,
Fight
right?
for a little attention sometimes,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's not changed. So I'm very proud of my farm upbringing. I always feel like I get the best of both worlds of work ethic of make hay while the sun shines, and all those great things.
Absolutely.
It's great for when you're running a business and a company, and the Players Center is a business just like everyone else. We just happen to be entertainment. But I love the fact that I can still break out into show tunes sometimes if I need to. But now I let other people do it. Like
Now
Alyssa.
you let other
Yeah,
people do it.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
and before the show you were telling me Alyssa is your right-hand man, right? You are the right-hand
The
person.
woman behind the man.
You're the production manager, and I was impressed with your educational background, Alyssa. You have a degree in
theater studies.
which is not just acting.
Exactly. It's kind of a jack of all trades, master of none sort of thing, where I got
I
to.
wouldn't say that.
Well, hey, call it like I see it.
Yeah.
But I got to direct, produce, dramaturg. I had set design, lighting design, costume design, prop design, as well as acted by the time I left college.
I have to ask you,
Yeah.
dramaturg? What
Yeah.
is dramaturg? I
That's
don't know what that
the
is.
person that will study the script, do the research behind it,
Okay.
find where certain things come from, pronunciations of words, why the playwright put that in there, what's important to the story about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, to give up your production assistant or manager, excuse me, it's an interesting story how you got the lead role. I'd like you to share of Dolly Gallagher Levi, and I love her name. It's
too.
Irish, Jewish. Dolly Gallagher
She's a
Levi.
little bit of everything.
She is in
Jack of
Hello,
all
Dolly.
trades.
But how did it come to be that the production manager became the star of the show?
And she was she's the production manager, and then she was also the stage manager. So
Yeah.
they're at auditions, and I didn't attend auditions, or the callbacks. So auditions went great. Callbacks, I get the next note, and they're like, yeah, we're interested in Alyssa. I'm like, how did she go from the production manager and stage manager to you wanting to use her as the lead? And I think she'll be able to tell you that literally they were singing the ladies. And then the director looked at her and said, well, maybe you should be auditioning.
So there was something lit up around you. He asked you to try out?
Yeah, I'd worked with, at the time, Dennis Clark was directing Hello, Dolly, and he had come in for the callbacks. I was stage managing for him, and he and I had worked together before, and he said, I'd really love to see you as Dolly. I'm like, Dennis, please don't do this to me. I need to stage manage this. I love Dolly, but I'm not, this is my thing. And so we get through all the auditions, and he turns to me and he goes, just sing it for me. Oh. And at that point, my resolve was broken. I was like, okay. So I got up and sang, and there we go.
But this is a dream role for you,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yes, it is.
So I thought that was such a touching story. Can you share
Absolutely.
how
Yeah.
how you came to love this role.
Well, I used to work for the Golden Apple Dinner Theater from 2006 to 2012. I was their production stage manager. And so I had the great pleasure and privilege of working closely with Roberta McDonald-Turoff, who is Sarasota's leading lady. And Dolly Gallagher-Levi was one of the roles she was famous for in Sarasota. She had done it several times, and I mean, even at their house, there's a big, beautiful painting of her as Dolly. It's stunning. But anyway, she was doing her one-woman show. It was around 2010, 2011, and I was stage managing it. They had been in rehearsals, but I'd been involved in another production, so I came in about a week before it went into production. And I was sitting there for the first time with my book, just taking notes, watching her and everything like that. And then she gets to the section where she talks about playing Dolly. And I'd seen Roberta do hundreds of roles at this point. And we get to that section, and she steps forward, and she goes into the infamous, I've decided to rejoin the human race monologue at the end of Act 1. And I remember I couldn't move. I just sat there. And I watched, and I saw this glorious personification come forward. And then she went into Before the Parade Passes By, and tears were running down my face. And again, I'd known Roberta for years. I'd been friends with her. I had never seen that side of her before. And
So she became Dolly.
she
in
was
front of
Dolly
your-
right there.
Yeah.
And from that moment on, I was like, I need to honor this moment that I see, and I need to play this role someday.
So it really touched
yeah.
your heart, and
Oh,
here you are.
And I've never forgotten it, and it's my dearest hope to be able to honor her legacy with this role.
Yeah, that's a fabulous story. We have something to look forward to.
Yes.
to see this show. And so Morgan.
Yes.
I want to talk, this is a momentous year for the players,
It
and
is.
you are
It
going
is.
to be, you're always spearheading the support for the financial support, right?
Very important, yes.
But I have to ask you, you went to the University of St. Andrews in Scotland.
I did.
And Kate Middleton and Prince William went to the same school, right?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, so what was that like?
I was one of the first American graduates from the university.
Really?
When back in a while back, let's just say.
Okay.
I won't say how far back, but at the time, my family's Scottish, and at the time
Well, we might be cousins. My family's all Irish,
Oh,
so we're,
I'm sure there's a
very
connection
close.
somewhere.
Yes,
There is. There
there
was a lot of
probably is.
crossing the borders.
Yeah.
So they, at the time, St. Andrews was looking for American graduates. They figured their program's a 4-year program, where a English university is only 3 years. So they figured out that Americans their education was kind of compatible to what they had to offer. And I read about it and applied, and they accepted me. And I said, when will you ever have an opportunity like that to live 4 years in a country?
That's right.
Go to university, to one of the oldest universities in Scotland, and it just experience a whole new culture.
So it's the same language theoretically, but I've heard some of those Scots talk. Did you have trouble understanding in the beginning, or were you okay? 'Cause
I was
truly
okay,
it is.
because my grandmother being Scottish, I
So-
was used to all of the traditions, and I was a bagpiper.
Okay.
So I grew up, I was one of the first female bagpipers in a local band.
Oh, I
So
can't
all-
wait. I can't wait.
You're
for
all
her to bring up-
performers.
Now we know
that.
what's happening at the 90th gala.
Our 90th anniversary birthday party.
Are we going to hear some bagpipes?
We're going to hear some bagpipes.
I'll pipe in the honorees.
That is, well, I would love to hear bagpipes in a setting other than a wedding or a funeral.
Well,
That's my personal experience with that.
And when I grew up and I was having to practice, my grandmother always said to go outside up on the hill where they belong.
They're pretty loud.
So-
So,
Yes.
just to bring it back to the players, because
Absolutely.
you all bring such vitality to this organization. But you're planning on a new home. So
We
let's talk
are.
about that. And Morgan, I don't know if you have that to share with the audience, but this is a major undertaking for an organization that's 90 years old in the Sarasota community.
What we've realized over time is that we're outgrown our space. So we've been in our current location since 1936, And we've been in our current building since 1974. And looking 10 years ahead, we realized, well, our building's not going to work, our parking's not going to work. We're getting squeezed out. So we needed to go someplace where we had a little space to breathe and grow. And we're very fortunate that the folks at Lakewood Ranch, Waterside, they decided that they were going to be building very close to Fruitville Road and 75. So they're giving us a little plot of land, and we are working on a $35 million and a 70,000 square foot building that is going to allow us to really be an arts center. So the little community theater, it's time to grow up. It's time to understand that maybe that working model wasn't the best model for us, and we're going to engage about another dozen arts groups and really become a performing arts center with 3 theaters, a restaurant, a cabaret, and a school. So it really is us finally realizing, I guess you're never too old to change or to grow.
Right.
And we needed to upgrade our strategy and how our next 90 years will look.
That's an impressive collaboration. 12 other organizations.
At
Are you at
least.
liberty to say?
We aren't, because we haven't signed any dotted lines.
Okay.
But I was talking to
It's
Richard
in
Russell
the-
at the Opera, and he's really interested in our black box. They have a beautiful large theater, but they don't have a space to do small things. Talking to great people of the other theaters that would like to be able to use our cabaret, that do cabaret in town. They would like a larger audiences. There are lots of orchestras and choral groups. There's dance groups. I mean, really, if you think about it, there's a lot of organizations that don't have a home. They're
Yes.
performing in churches or they're renting space. We want to be their home. We want to become an arts center that's located right off of Fruitville and 75 that engages the entire community.
Well, that's a fabulous vision, and I know these things take time.
Yes.
Morgan and Jeffrey, what are you looking at in terms of, because it will take time, right? And so where are you at right now with the planning stage of your new vision and home?
Well, we have some money to raise.
Yes. Yeah.
But the main point that we like to make is, even though we've been going through this for several years, we're still in our current location for several more years. So we have our 90th season planned. So that's all the way through August of 2020. And then I'm negotiating with the landlords right now for another year. So our 91st will be in our current location as well. So we're hoping that gives us enough time that we can break ground, get the building started. Likely we're going to float for a season. So that will be interesting and exciting. And we'll figure that out, as it goes. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah,
So.
so it's it certainly would be a fabulous addition to the community and bringing all these organizations together. Another thing I was really impressed with is you all do 20 shows a year, roughly 20 shows. I mean, that is you're a prolific organization for any community theater. I mean, is there anyone else in the country that does as many shows?
It's a lot. What we realized several years ago is if we're not producing, there's no income. I mean, we are just like every other business. So Alyssa and I work tirelessly. We were just talking before the show. We just closed Underpants. We just closed Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. We did our Sleepy Hollow experience outdoors at the Polo Grounds. We're opening Fantastic that runs through November 10th. We're in rehearsals for Hello Dolly. We have auditions on November 9th for our next 3 shows, Sister Act, Head Over Heels. I mean, we never stop.
Going.
Part of it is my fault.
It doesn't sound like a fault, but explain.
Well, we didn't have summer programming when I started at the theater, and I mean, so there are just certain initiatives and things. We didn't do outdoor theater. We didn't have outreach. So a part of me just felt like you've got to try new things. You've got to expand. You've got to within reason. So the backstage theater was just a rehearsal space, and it wasn't being utilized. Well, why aren't we doing some great small plays back there? Not everyone in the world wants, Broadway revival type theaters, which is really our main stage experience with our Wild Broadway series.
Yeah, I know. Broadway shows.
Well, I know.
Musicals.
We love those too, but it's not everyone's cup of tea.
Right, and there's a whole menu of options, and there's just theater encompasses so much.
Yeah.
So tell me about this outdoor theater was new, and you guys recently had quite an interesting Sarasota weather isn't always easy for outdoor theater.
No, and you think you're safe in October, but you're
not.
and you're not.
Who would have
not
thought a
safe.
year ago when we're making our calendar that we would choose the one Saturday
It was going to get
that
rained
there's
out.
a typhoon?
I know, and it was
Like-
unexpected. I mean, it wasn't
Yeah.
really
It wasn't.
forecasted.
It just sort of
ahead of
popped up.
time.
Yep.
It
Yeah.
was just one of those, you know, talk about, just rolling with it. You
Yeah.
know, on Friday we went, well, do we want to do 4 shows outdoors with a typhoon going through? And we
No.
went, well, no, but luckily we did have a rain date planned.
Okay.
So our
Yes.
outreach for our community and trying to do things that are different and do outdoor theater, it is a challenge. It is difficult.
But what I thought was so cool is that you're doing the Legend of Sleepy Hollow at the Polo Grounds
Yeah.
with the horse
Yes.
coming in. I mean, there's such a
wonderful
nice
partnership.
tie-in
Yeah.
with the people who use the Polo Grounds, and you're introducing theater. I would think there's a whole nother audience out there, right?
That's exactly right. And,
Yeah.
just like any other group, they need to get to understand who we are. We need to get to understand who they are. We really are trying to cross borders and boundaries. University north isn't Afghanistan, and east of 75 isn't that far. But, we literally, we're going to
You're-
move 7 miles. And people need to realize that,
It's not that far
It's
away.
not that far away.
Yeah, it's actually.
And the
okay.
heart of what we do as a community theater is going to survive. And that's because we have great people that are going to make sure that your little community theater, even though we may change, our title might be a little different, the heart of what we do, we save lives by doing live theater. I mean, what we're able to accomplish is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And it's really, a lot of it is due to a great staff, an incredible board of directors,
Yeah.
and our mission. Follow the mission.
Well, tell me this. I do want to ask you. In this day and age, I'm sure you have your regulars. But what would you say to people? Maybe Morgan, I'll start with you. What would you say to people who really haven't been to the theater in a while? It's not something they usually do. Why go to the theater instead of Netflix or, going to Hollywood 20? Those are fun. But
Well,
what is it about theater for you?
It's the whole experience of the community theater. So we just had the production of Joseph recently, just closed. And what everybody was so surprised about was the gentleman who played Joseph on stage would be a public defender during the day. So these people performing on stage.
Who was that?
Christos Nikoloudis.
Yes.
Wow.
That's a mouthful, but he was amazing.
That sounds like a good
So
Greek name.
these people that are performing are your neighbors. They're your friends, your coworkers. They're the joy of community theater is anybody can be on our stage. So come out and support your local, your family, your community, and see a production, the experience of coming to the theater and seeing it live and in person and up close, and then the opportunity to meet the cast afterwards, or to just again support a local business.
Definitely.
That's probably one of the the biggest crux of it is support your local business, support your local arts.
Yeah.
And
So, Alyssa, how about you? Why theater? Why-
It's the human connection. With Netflix and all the different options you got at home, yeah, it's easy to sit on the couch and just flip your remote, but there's something that you cannot get anywhere else other than a theater when you're sitting there and you're watching that person get their heart broken right in front of you,
Yeah.
or discover that dream or sing that note. You don't get that off of Netflix.
No.
And then that opportunity that you could be a part of that as well. I mean, we will take anybody. If you used to do theater, if it's always been your dream to do it, if you have a degree in it, come to us. Come be a part of this with us. You
Because
can live out that dream too.
there's opportunities for that latent star, right?
exactly.
Seriously, right?
Absolutely.
Like our host today.
Oh no, that's that would take a lot of
Starting
convincing.
Guys and Dolls.
Oh, see, I shouldn't have told you that. I shouldn't have.
We're going to
told you that.
remember that.
I'll be calling
Okay.
you for auditions. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Speaking of calling, so you can audition in November for our next 3 shows.
Yep.
Simply calling 365-2494 for an audition time or for tickets to see some of our shows. 941-365-2494. 617-246-2494. Ask for Alyssa.
Yes.
If you have any questions, I will tell you anything you need to know.
Calling all actors
Yep.
and musical,
Enthusiasts
singers
and
and,
who wants to be. Yeah.
and people who want to participate in a fabulous group effort. And I imagine doing this professionally, because I remember my high school experience was transformative.
Yeah.
It was so much fun, and the way you connect with people, it must be a pleasure to do that as a living.
Well, yeah, well, I was a professional performer. I have a BFA from Otterbein University in Westerville, Ohio. Went to New York, got my equity card, did lots of great theater, and then moved to Sarasota to retire from theater because I wasn't enjoying it very much. And then ended up writing and directing and now producing. And what live theater does for you, it's transformative. And there's something about being in a room full of people and you're watching something imperfect happen in front of you live, and anything could happen at any minute. It's not perfect. It's not movie. If you want perfection, then go to the movies. This is live theater. It's raw emotion, and you are literally elbow to elbow, living, breathing, crying, laughing, applauding with humanity, with
Yeah.
your neighbors, watching your neighbors. Life, there's nothing like sitting in an audience and watching people succeed and telling a story and taking you with it. It's transformative.
It's a joyful experience too. And I'm also struck because you all do your best. You try to put a different spin or bring a different interpretation to things that are pretty well established in people's minds. Hello Dolly is a show that most of us know, whether we've seen the movie or actually saw it performed. So how do you keep things fresh with 20 shows? How do you find yourself being inspired?
I think so much of what we do is we surround ourselves with great people. We do that as a company, we do that as our business, but then we also do it with each of our creative teams. Every one of the productions that we produce is a different creative team. It's like a delicious stew. She loves it when I say that. But but you know what? It's creative people
Yes.
coming together and trying to create something wonderful.
Yeah.
So you never know exactly how it's going to turn out, but you know what? We want to put our stamp on it. It has to be our version of this. And when we do that, like we did with Joseph, it was different. It was not the same production that you saw everywhere else. We took chances, and our people survived and thrived that experience. And
Yeah.
people resonate with people like familiarity, but to put your spin on it so that your people
So
are
it's-
shown at their best.
And it truly is yours.
It's truly art.
yours.
It's art.
It is art.
It is art on stage.
I'm tempted to ask you, Alyssa, if you want to hum a few or sing a few bars
I
of
was
your audition.
hoping- I was
Because-
hoping you were going to do that.
Can we hear the audition that got you the
Absolutely.
yeah?
Before the parade passes by, I'm gonna go and taste Saturday's high life. Before the parade passes by, I'm gonna get some life back into my life. I'm ready to move out in front. I've had enough of just passing by life with the rest of them. With the best of them, I can hold my head up high. For I got a goal again, I gotta drive again. I'm gonna feel my heart coming alive again before the parade passes by.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
We can see why you got the role.
Thank you.
Terrific.
Live, happening in
Live
front of
theater.
us. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
So-
I got chills.
Yes, so we'll look forward to that. November 10th it opens. And Morgan, real quickly, Sarasota
Yes.
loves a party.
Yes.
You guys have a 90th
we
celebration.
have a 90th birthday party coming
When
up.
should we mark our calendars for that?
April 18th,
Okay.
2020. It's going to be at the Municipal Auditorium, and it is our 90th birthday celebration. It's a birthday bash, and the theme is That's Entertainment. And it will be an evening full of surprises, honorees, fun, great sets, great performers, great food, and everything.
So really, anyone, do you have to buy tickets in advance?
We encourage,
Do-
yes, yes.
okay.
You should buy tickets in advance. We hope to sell it out, of course.
Okay.
Can
is
I
it
mention
like
any of our honorees yet? No, I think
Well, we're
it's
still
still, we'll
working
do
on
a
it.
big,
It's black
big
tie. Is it
surprise.
formal?
Well,
is it a formal
yeah.
affair?
The thing
Yeah?
is, we would love for it to just be fun.
Right,
So if you want to dress up, if you
Right.
want to be in costume, do it.
right. Or if
Yeah.
you want to wear cocktail or black tie,
Yeah.
or if you want to come
Okay.
as Gene Kelly or Debbie Reynolds.
theater people. We
We're
wanna have
theater
fun.
I was
people.
going to say
That's
it's
right.
a theater
Anything
party.
goes.
So this is going to be a little cut loose a little bit,
Yeah.
here,
It is,
right?
it
Just
is.
come
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and be ready for a good time.
party.
So Jeffrey, what can we look forward to this season? We just have a few minutes left, and we know about Sister Act, Hello Dolly.
Sister Act, Hello Dolly, Anything Goes, Head Over Heels. We're the first theater in the area to get the Go-Go's musical that just closed on Broadway last year.
Go-Go's.
The Go-Go's. It's like Shakespeare with Go-Go's music. It is
Awesome.
fabulous.
That'll be
It's a really
fun.
great story. So we have a
That's
great
one of-
season.
One of
Yeah.
my favorite 80s bands.
Oh, me too.
the
Yeah,
Go-Go's.
exactly right.
All right.
So we've got a lot of exciting things, and literally go to our website, www.theplayers.org, and see all the things. There is something out there in our theater that is going to amaze you and entertain you.
All right. Well, Jeffrey Ken.
Yes.
Managing Artistic Director, the star of Hello Dolly, Elisa Gowdy, who just thrilled us with your singing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And Morgan Gerhardt, who graduated from the University of St. Andrews. And can you feel the royalty vibe there? I meant to ask you that.
Oh, definitely.
You can. Okay.
I've gone back since then, and I'm like, that's where they walked?
Okay.
All right.
All right. Well, we just have a few seconds left. Is there anything else you'd like to share real quickly with the audience?
Your community theater is here for you. We are here for you. Give us a chance. Give us an opportunity. Joseph and Mr. Dreamcoat, everyone that was, half the audience was brand new. Bring it. We're here for you.
All right, all right. Well, listen, thank you so much to all of you. And I know for me, theater has been a transforming experience, whether I go or participate. Thank you for sharing this half hour with us. You've been watching the Community TV show. I'm Kathy Antunes. Be sure to get out to the Players Theater this season. Have a great day.
The time really flew. We bid you adieu from Community. If you want to know why we love it here, so check out Community. Well, it's a who's who, a what's, when, and where show. It's a movie